In this lesson, I'm going to demonstrate various looping techniques and get more into the concept of the while loop and using the for and some other operators, functions, and methods as well. So before we begin, within this particular tutorial, I'm going to show you where we'll declare a string that has a word, let's say picture, or any other word twice. And we will use find to locate the first occurrence, and then we'll use the find method and the rfind and other functions as well to locate these occurrences. And of course, we'll build the while loop as well. So I'm going to demonstrate the same scenario multiple times in different ways, so you get to see various techniques when you write Python code. So let's get started. First, I'm just going to do a value here and specify the double word occurrence. So for example, just a simple sentence here with duplicate words such as cat picture is cat picture. Okay, just duplicating some words, some random text. Before I move forward, let me save it so we can see the color coding as well. So I'm just going to save this and call it loops. All right, great. So here's a simple variable. Next, let me put a comment here. So I'm going to say find first index of this string. And I'm going to say I equals value, and I'm going to use the find method and just find the picture. Pretty straightforward at this point. And simply do a print I. Next, I'm going to put a comment here. I'm going to do a find the first index of this string, of course, after the previous index. And here I'm going to do a, let's say, a B, for instance, and do a value find again. I'm going to do a picture, and here I'm going to specify I equals or I plus 1 because it's going to find the next occurrence, right? So I'm going to say I plus 1, and then of course close it out with my print B. Great. So just simple code so far. Just finding the duplicates, and it iterates to the next word when it finds it. Okay. Let's see the output here. So save it, run it. All right. So the name value is not defined at this point. And of course, if I get my spelling right, it'll be much easier. Great. So it's value.find. Run it one more time. And this time the output is 4 and 19. So the index value, for example, for the word picture in the first instance is 4, because we know it's 1, 2, 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay. So the word P in picture stands at index 4. And then it also finds the next occurrence of the word picture. And this time the output is 19, which means if you were to count from here to the first letter of P in the second word, it'll be 19 characters, right? So for example, starting with 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all the way up to 19. So it finds both at 4 index and at 19 index. Now if no value is found, for example, it will find the return of -1. We must check this value, often in an if statement, for example, to detect when the string was not found. And we cannot just use the index directly. So let me in fact demonstrate this moving forward. So here I have, for example, another value equals, I'm going to say Ralph Waldo Emerson. And the next would be, let's say I equals to a value find. I'm going to say find Python, right? Obviously, Python is not part of this at this point. And next I can build my if statement, right? So my if loop. So if I exclamation mark equals -1, of course I'm going to say something like not found, just a comment, and then do a print. Print, simply say string found, else say something like string not found. String not found. So save it, run it, and of course we get the syntax because I need a simple colon here, and correct my value also. Here we go, it's VALUE. Alright, so just some silly mistakes here. Save it, run it, and this time the output is string not found. So if it doesn't find the word Python, for example, it would simply print string not found. Now suppose we want to loop over all instances of a string within another string. A while loop would be wonderful to use, and with find method we can accomplish this. We can use the result to find the starting index, for instance. So let me do a while here. Now we could optimize this sample further, for instance, right? We can change the second argument to find to add to the length of the string. But first, I'm just going to do the while so we can actually see that as well. Alright, so just do a value here again. I'm going to do a value, and this time I'm going to make sure I get my spellings correct. And once again, it's cat picture is cat picture. So same example. And I'm going to say comment here, start with this value, and my location equals -1. And here I'm going to build a loop. Okay, so let me scroll down ahead a little bit so you can see. So put a comment first, loop, as long as it's true. So loop while true, and while true, colon. And next is going to advance, right? So it's going to advance location by -1. Okay, so I'm just going to put a comment here, advance location by -1. And this time my location equals, and now I'm going to use the find method, right, within my location. So I'm going to use value.find. I'm going to say picture, comma, and location would be +1. And next I'm going to have it break if not found, right? So if it doesn't find it, then I'm going to make sure Python breaks at that point. So just put a comment here, quick, break if not found. So if location equals -1, simply break. And finally do a print, in other words, display the location. And of course, once I'm done, simply do a final print, location, save it, make sure I have my spellings correct this time. Looks good so far. Let's run it. And notice in this instance it finds the same values again, right? Because it says 4 and 19. So we can use the loop while it's true based on a certain location. So not just a standard indexing anymore. We can in fact use the while loop to ensure we get the same results on the same example. So this technique is very powerful. Next, we can also use the rfind. And this method searches from the right. It returns the index of the rightmost substring within the optional range, for example, as you specify. And it's important to note that the integer arguments are a range, in fact. We can specify the first index and the last index. So let's do an example. Let me show you this also. So one more time, to specify a value equals cat picture is cat picture. Okay. Same example, so it's easy to follow. And here I'm going to first say get the rightmost index of the string, right? So get the rightmost index of the string. And here I'm going to specify this. So I equals value dot rfind, right? So this time I'm going to use the method rfind. And of course, find what? The picture. And simply do a print I. Perfect. Next, I'm going to have it get the rightmost index within this range of characters. Okay, so get the rightmost index within this range of characters. And here I can say something like b equals value dot rfind picture, specify the index starting at 0, and then simply do an I minus 1. And once I'm done, simply do a print b, save it, run it. You'll notice in this instance it says 19 and 4 because it starts from the rightmost. So you see the various techniques, multiple ways we can approach using the same concept. So using the while and the for loops with rfind and find is very powerful. Let me in fact demonstrate one more rfind with a loop. So I'm going to build the rfind within our loop, and we can use the rfind method in a loop. Here we adjust the range of characters we search as we progress through the string, and we can adjust the end index but leave the first index set to 0. And this allows us to iterate over matched substrings from the right. So let me in fact show you this. Let's do value one more time. Cat picture is cat picture, and here I'm just going to say start with the length of string, and simply do, let's say, an I equals, do our len value, and next I'm just going to do a while loop. So while true, and as long as that's true, I'm going to find the rightmost string in this range, right? So let's put a comment here quick so you can see, find the rightmost string in this range. And here I'm going to say I equals value dot rfind. And again, I'm building the rfind within our while loop. And I'm going to say picture, my index, and then of course just the I itself. And let's see, I'm going to build the not found also. Okay, so I'm just going to check for not found just in case. So do an if I equals -1. I'm just going to do a break and simply print otherwise. Save it, run it. Perfect, we get the same result. So multiple ways we can use the loop with other methods such as find, rfind, and finding our indexes. So in this lesson, I demonstrated various looping techniques with the for and the while loops. So practice, and let's move to our next lesson.